But honestly,
If you keep Walker moving like this, you got to dodge the crazy punches.
Oh my gosh!
Alright folks, buckle up because we're diving into the wild world of mixed martial arts, MMA, where the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, is always scouting for new talent to amp up their roster. But hey, let's face it, not every signing ends up being a slam dunk. Nope. Sometimes, despite all the hype and hoopla, fighters just don't quite deliver the goods, leaving fans and the UFC scratching their heads. So, grab a seat as we take a stroll down memory lane and explore the top 10 UFC signings that ended up being major bummers. Let's start with Dave Hermanson. This dude burst onto the UFC scene like a wrecking ball, boasting a jaw-dropping record of 21 wins and only 2 losses. Fans were practically salivating at the thought of seeing him tear it up in the heavyweight division. And his debut victory over John Olive Inamal at UFC events? Pure gold. But then things took a turn for the worse. Hermanson hit a rough patch, facing off against seasoned veterans like Stefan Struve and Roy Nelson and coming up short every time. Talk about a buzzkill. Despite a brief resurgence and even a showdown with the legendary Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, Hermanson's UFC journey crashed and burned with 4 consecutive losses, ultimately leading to his unceremonious exit from the promotion. Now, let's talk about Gilbert Burns. This guy was supposed to be a wrecking ball in the octagon, known for his aggressive fighting style and a record that had opponents quaking in their boots. 36 wins, baby. But when he stepped into the UFC, things just didn't click. Burns found himself on the receiving end of beatdowns from the likes of Junior Dos Santos, Ben Rothwell, and John Madison. 3 losses in a row? Ouch! The UFC had no choice but to bid farewell to Burns, leaving him licking his wounds and wondering what went wrong. Next up, we've got Mustafa Alter, the knockout specialist. This dude had fans on the edge of their seats with his reputation for putting opponents to sleep. With a record of 6 wins and 3 losses, Alter seemed like a surefire bet for success in the UFC. But alas, fate had other plans. Alter's journey in the octagon was over before it even began, with losses against heavy hitters like Chike Congo, Mirko Cro Cop, and John Madison sealing his fate with the promotion. Talk about a missed opportunity. Now let's shift our focus to Dan Lauzon, the younger brother of UFC veteran Joe Lauzon. With an undefeated record of 4 wins, Dan seemed poised for greatness when he stepped into the octagon. But his debut fight against Spencer Fisher ended in disappointment, with Dan taking a TKO loss that left fans scratching their heads. Despite a 5-fight winning streak after that, Dan's UFC career was marred by losses to Cole Miller and Efrain Escudero, ultimately leading to his release from the promotion. It's tough being in the shadow of a sibling, especially when you're trying to make a name for yourself in the world of MMA. Seth Petrocelli's UFC journey was a rollercoaster ride from start to finish. This dude stepped into the octagon with a respectable record of 7 wins and 2 losses, hoping to make a splash in the light heavyweight division.
Personality and in skill. Romero suffered a broken jaw, a sprained knee, and a torn pec muscle in that fight with Seth Petrocelli. Amazing.
But things got off to a rocky start with a unanimous decision loss to Matt Hamill in his debut fight. Despite a brief glimmer of hope with a win outside the UFC, Seth's return to the big leagues ended in disappointment with a loss to Wilson Gouveia, sealing his fate with the promotion once again. It's a tough pill to swallow, but sometimes the octagon just isn't the right fit for everyone. Now on to Tiki Golson. This guy seemed like the real deal with a mixed martial arts record of 3 wins, no losses, and 1 draw. With that kind of track record, it's no wonder fans were buzzing with excitement when he joined the UFC. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. Tiki's journey in the octagon was marked by inconsistency, with losses to Bob Cook and Sean Shirk tarnishing his record. Despite a brief winning streak, Tiki's inability to secure a victory against top-tier opponents like Robbie Lawler and Chris Little led to his release from the promotion. It's a tough break for sure, but in the cutthroat world of MMA, you've got to bring your A-game every time. Gabe Rudiger brought a record of 10 wins and 2 losses to the UFC, showcasing his potential as a formidable opponent in the lightweight division. But his debut against Melvin Gillard ended in disappointment as he suffered a TKO loss.
Leaning forward, trying to get a hold of him. Still waiting for Gillard. Oh my goodness, body punch. Over. Wow, stopped him with a...
Despite subsequent wins and losses, Rudiger's UFC journey was fraught with challenges. culminating in losses to Joe Lauzon and Paul Taylor.
Rudiger's in big trouble. He's got the arm. Looking for the finish. He's got it. It is all over. It is all.
Prompting his release from the promotion for the second time. Renzo Gracie, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner with a record of 12 wins and 7 losses, entered the UFC with high expectations. However, Gracie's UFC debut against Matt Hughes ended in a one-sided beating, raising questions about his ability to compete at the highest level of MMA.
And he's in danger. Big John McCarthy stopping this fight.
Could this be over here? Can't hoist the finish.
Wow, that's it.
All over. Matt Hughes has the...
Despite a brief stint in the promotion, Gracie's disappointing performance against Hughes signaled the end of his UFC career. CM Punk, a household name in professional wrestling, made headlines when he announced his transition to MMA despite lacking combat experience. Despite a year of training, Punk's UFC debut against Mickey Gall ended swiftly with a submission loss in the first round.
Wow, he got out of it. Very impressive, but he's going through it again. I think that's it.
It is all over. Mickey Gall submits CM Punk.
Punk's lack of experience and skill in the octagon highlighted the challenges of transitioning from wrestling to MMA, ultimately leading to his departure from the promotion. James Toney, a world-class boxer with numerous titles to his name, made waves when he entered the UFC with the belief that his boxing skills alone would secure victory. However, Toney's UFC debut against Randy Couture ended in a one-sided beating, showcasing the vast differences between boxing and MMA. Toney's inability to adapt to the complexities of MMA led to his swift exit from the promotion, highlighting the challenges of crossing over from boxing to mixed martial arts. The journey of these fighters serves as a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of the UFC and the challenges faced by athletes in the world of mixed martial arts. Despite high hopes and expectations, not every signing turns into a success story. Whether hindered by lack of experience, inconsistency, or the inability to adapt to the demands of MMA, these fighters struggled to make their mark in the octagon. As the UFC continues to evolve, these cautionary tales serve as a testament to the fierce competition and unpredictable nature of the sport. So here's to these fighters and their unforgettable, albeit brief moments in the spotlight. May they find success in whatever path they choose next. Alright folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the 10 worst signings in UFC history. Thanks for sticking with me through this roller coaster ride of highs and lows in the octagon. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more content like this. And hey, drop a comment down below letting me know which UFC fighter's journey surprised you the most. Until next time, keep it locked here for all things UFC, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out!